3, we're going to cut the companion base for our ion cannon. This is like a little side project that's really going to hopefully complement our sort of echo base HOTH outpost that we're doing. So with that said, let's get started. You're going to need a couple of things for this project. The first things you're going to need are a hot wire cutter, foam board, a Sharpie marker, and a wide plastic cup. And so picking up where we left off in part 2, the Mod Podge just had a chance to dry, and I've cut the base, and now we're going to have a great base to start building our main diorama part now that it's dried. But before we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to cut the companion piece for the ion cannon. And that follow leading edge there in the front is what we're going to do is we're going to trace that onto another piece of the foam board, and we're going to give sort of a companion piece, almost like an interlocking jigsaw along that leading edge. And you'll see what we do with that. So moving forward, we're going to call this piece, we're going to call this the HOTH turret. And that HOTH turret and the ion cannon are going to be separate, but they're going to be approximately the same size. So we're going to take this HOTH turret and we're going to make sure that we have enough space. There's where we kind of want to put it on the companion piece, sort of in there. And so now we're going to take that, make sure we have enough of a companion base piece to make sure that that fits. Now I'm going to take this piece that we just sort of completed, and I'm going to basically just lay it over the top of this other piece of foam board, and I'm going to trace that bottom leading edge. Now, of course, my preference when it comes to building dioramas is to have live edges and to have some negative space. The negative space, don't be afraid of it. That oftentimes really sets the stage for dramatic distance between two diorama pieces. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to figure out how best to utilize this scrap piece. I want to take advantage of it. I don't want it too oversized, but I want to take advantage of it and make sure that it's worth the effort. So I'm just spacing it out, and I've decided that's where I want it. And I'm going to take that fat Sharpie marker and I'm going to trace that outline, and that's going to create almost like an interlocking jigsaw puzzle. And you know that old expression, measure twice, cut once? Well, in my opinion, you should measure about 4 or 5 times before you cut into valuable material. So I'm just double checking here and making sure before I cut it with the hot wire cutter, I got enough room for what I want to do with it. And I think it's going to be nice. And already you can tell it's going to make for kind of an interesting sort of negative space piece. And I'm going to take the hot wire cutter just like I did in part 1. I'm going to cut this shape out. And then I'm going to put the live edge on it, and I'll catch up with you in just a minute. So here we go. That piece is more or less finished. I'm going to tweak it a little bit more as we move along, but for the purposes of right now, that's going to give me the shape I need to continue on for the ion cannon placement. So there's a few scrap pieces, and those always come in handy, so save those. But now what we're going to do is we're going to match it up. There's the existing piece that we have, and then as you can see, what I've done is now I've made this rather interesting companion piece, and I've also made a negative space. That way the diorama can provide some depth of view, and you can then utilize 2 different diorama pieces in different ways, but they still interlock together. And so, with HOTH being my favorite moment in the entire Star Wars saga, I always wanted to try, as a kid, I always wanted the ion cannon. You know, that really awesome spherical weapon that they shoot from the surface of HOTH out into space. And then what they do is they take down the Star Destroyer with it. I always wanted to try doing that. So here we go. Here's going to be my attempt. There's a picture of the ion cannon. So remember how I told you you're going to need a plastic cup in the beginning of this. So here it is. We're going to take this cheap plastic cup, and we're going to take one of those clear Christmas ornaments. Now you can search for just the right size plastic cup for your own project, or just the right Christmas bulb, or whatever you want to do. But what we're going to do is we're going to then transfer some of that detailing from the turret onto the plastic cup. So that will be in the next part. But what we're doing right now is we're just sort of sizing our components to make sure that everything is going to fit the way we kind of want it to on that base that we just cut out. Now, the Hoth Rebellion's armor and their defense mechanisms were always so interesting because they had the power cables running to it. It looked so Bush League compared to the Empire. And so we need to try to replicate that to some degree. And one of the fun things about when you scratch build things is you're kind of doing it in the spirit of the Rebellion and in the spirit of the original trilogy. So here I am, and I've found a plastic cup that's really going to serve well. As you can see, it's about the same size, give or take, as the Kenner turret. So you could theoretically put that turret right on top of that and it would look really great. And I might do that. I might make a few variations of this turret. But for right now, I want to stick with that ion cannon. And first thing you can notice is that all I did was I took the bottom out of the cup so that it's essentially hollow. It's basically just a cone at this point. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take one of those Christmas bulbs, and as you'll notice, I tried to size it just right. Now I'm pretty pleased with the way these things are fitting together. Now there's going to be some modification, and like I said, we're going to sort of greeble out the base of the ion cannon. We're obviously going to paint it. We're going to try to make it look very Rebellion. But the idea is I'd like for it to be able to rotate freely on the top of that base. So we're going to put some power cables running across the back of it. Now you can put a door on it if you want. I may or may not put a false door on this one. These plastic cups are very, very cheap. So in the next part, let's start detailing out this ion cannon and start putting that companion piece together. Thanks so much, and stay tuned.